Dealerships are scamming buyers. They force desperate commuters into $30,000 loans for heavily used Hondas and Toyotas. You're paying a massive, unjustified tax just for a badge on the grill. Stop trading your hard-earned paycheck for an overpriced illusion. There is a Japanese manufacturer building vehicles with superior driving dynamics and equal mechanical longevity, but the mainstream auto market ignores them. Today, we expose 5 dirt-cheap Mazdas engineered to cross 300,000 miles with zero stress. Number 1 is a stunning hatchback that makes the Civic look foolish. Number 5, the Mazda 2, 2011 to 2014. The American automotive market possesses a deep, irrational hatred for subcompact cars. Buyers demand massive, top-heavy crossovers to commute alone to an office. Because buyers refuse to purchase tiny hatchbacks, the third-generation Mazda 2 suffered terrible sales numbers during its production run. Dealerships could not give them away. Today, they sit abandoned on the secondary market. If you need basic, flawless transportation to escape financial debt, this vehicle is the ultimate cheat code. It weighs a mere 2,300 pounds. That light weight means the engine, brakes, and suspension experience minimal stress during daily operation. Beneath the small hood sits the 1.5-liter MZR 4-cylinder engine. This power plant produces 100 horsepower. You will not win any drag races. However, this engine features a durable timing chain, a cast aluminum block, and traditional port fuel injection. Because it lacks direct injection, you never have to worry about carbon buildup choking the intake valves. Mazda paired this engine with a traditional 4-speed automatic transmission or a crisp 5-speed manual gearbox. This is a crucial detail. The Mazda 2 shares its underlying chassis with the Ford Fiesta. While the Ford Fiesta was plagued by the catastrophic power-shift dual-clutch transmission that ruined thousands of lives, Mazda refused to use Ford transmissions. They stuck with their proven hardware, ensuring the Mazda 2 remains bulletproof. The driving dynamics are shocking. Because it weighs nothing, the steering feedback is sharp and communicative. You can dive into tight city corners and navigate cramped parking garages with ease. A pizza delivery driver named Kevin bought a 2012 Mazda 2 to navigate heavy urban traffic. He logged 240,000 miles on the original engine and original manual clutch. He hit aggressive city potholes daily and idled for hours outside apartment complexes. The engine never burned oil. The simple mechanical engineering allowed him to perform all maintenance in his driveway using basic hand tools. Despite the stellar reliability record, you must inspect 3 specific components before handing over your cash. First, the front strut mounts degrade prematurely. The rubber upper mounts bear the brunt of harsh road impacts. Take the car on a test drive over a speed bump or rough pavement. If you hear a distinct, hollow clunking noise echoing from the front wheel, well, the mounts are torn. Replacing the front strut assemblies is a moderate repair expense. Second, the rear wheel bearings roar at highway speeds. The factory wheel bearings are prone to pitting due to moisture intrusion. Drive the vehicle at 60 miles per hour. If you hear a rhythmic, low-pitched humming noise that sounds like a prop plane taking off in the back seat, the bearings are shot. The noise will change pitch when you weave the steering wheel left to right. Pressing new bearings into the rear hubs carries a moderate labor cost. Third, the manual climate control dials snap internally. The plastic gears behind the dashboard knobs are fragile. Try turning the air distribution dial from the floor setting to the defrost setting. If the knob feels jammed or spins freely without changing the airflow, the internal cable mechanism is broken. Fixing this requires removing the center console trim. You can find these efficient hatchbacks for $3,000 to $6,000. A tiny city car saves you massive amounts of money at the fuel pump. However, our next vehicle provides a bizarre solution for growing families who refuse to drive a boring minivan. Prepare yourself for a mechanical oddity. Number 4, the Mazda 5, 2006 to 2015. Families multiply, and parents assume they must surrender their driving enjoyment to purchase a massive, heavy minivan. The mainstream market dictates you must buy a Honda Odyssey or a Toyota Sienna. Those vehicles cost a fortune and consume massive amounts of fuel. Mazda identified a gap in the market. They built the Mazda 5. It is a miniature minivan built on the chassis of a compact car. It features sliding rear doors and 3 rows of seating, accommodating 6 passengers. Because American buyers want giant SUVs, the market rejected this microvan. The depreciation on this model is staggering. You are acquiring the utility of a minivan with the footprint and handling of a small hatchback. Powering this unique people mover is the legendary MZR engine architecture. Early models received a 2.3-liter variant, while 2012 and newer models received the upgraded 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine. Both variations utilize a heavy-duty timing chain and dual overhead camshafts. This engine was co-developed with Ford and proved so durable that it powered millions of commercial fleet vehicles worldwide. The most surprising feature of the Mazda 5 is the transmission availability. Mazda actually offered this 6-passenger minivan with a 6-speed manual transmission. Finding a manual transmission family hauler is rare. If you opt for the automatic, you receive a reliable 5-speed Torx converter gearbox. A mother named Sarah bought a 2013 Mazda 5 to transport her children to school and haul musical instruments. She navigated tight school drop-off zones where larger SUVs struggled to turn. She reached 270,000 miles using synthetic oil changes. The sliding doors prevented her children from denting adjacent cars in crowded grocery store parking lots. Before you buy, you must perform a thorough inspection of 3 known failure points. First, the rear suspension camber geometry destroys tires. Mazda engineered the rear suspension with aggressive negative camber to make the tall vehicle handle like a sports car. This causes the inside edge of the rear tires to wear down rapidly. Turn the steering wheel and inspect the inner tread blocks on the rear wheels. If the inside edge is bald while the outside looks new, you must purchase an aftermarket adjustable camber arm kit to fix the factory alignment flaw. Second, the sliding door latches freeze in cold weather. Moisture accumulates inside the cable housing of the sliding doors. During winter freezes, the cable binds. You will pull the door handle and the door will refuse to latch shut. The door will bounce back open when you try to close it. You must remove the interior door panels and lubricate the latch mechanisms with white lithium grease. Third, the engine thermostat sticks open. The factory thermostat is prone to mechanical failure. Start the vehicle on a cold morning and drive on the highway. If the temperature gauge on the dashboard drops back down to the cold section while cruising, the thermostat is stuck open. The engine will run rich, consuming extra fuel and ruining the catalytic converter. Replacing the thermostat is a cheap preventative repair. Prices range from $4,000 to $8,000. Hauling a family requires space, but what if your primary goal is chewing up highway miles in a large, comfortable sedan that corners like a European sports car? Number 3 is a mid-sized champion hiding in plain sight. Number 3, the Mazda 6, 2009 to 2013. The mid-size sedan segment is a ruthless battlefield. The Honda Accord and Toyota Camry dominate the sales charts, casting a massive shadow over every competitor. When Mazda released the second generation Mazda 6, known internally as the GH generation, they made a specific decision for the North American market. They stretched the wheelbase, widened the body, and increased the trunk capacity. It became a large, commanding sedan. Because it lacks the Toyota badge, used car buyers walk right past it. You must navigate the engine options carefully. Mazda offered this car with a 3.7-liter Ford V6 engine. You must avoid the V6 model. That engine utilizes an internal water pump driven by the timing chain. When the water pump seal fails, it dumps coolant directly into the engine oil, destroying the engine bearings. Instead, you must hunt for models equipped exclusively with the 2.5-liter MZR 4-cylinder engine. This is the exact same bulletproof architecture found in the Mazda 5. It produces 170 horsepower. Without the heavy V6 sitting over the front axle, the 4-cylinder model exhibits superior turn-in response and lighter steering. The double wishbone front suspension and multi-link rear suspension provide a planted, confident ride on winding roads. The cabin features soft-touch materials and high-quality switchgear that rival entry-level luxury cars. A traveling medical equipment salesman named Marcus chose a 2010 Mazda 6 4-cylinder to cover his tri-state territory. He spent 10 hours a day behind the wheel, fighting crosswinds on open highways. The aerodynamic profile and acoustic insulation kept the cabin quiet. He crossed 310,000 miles on the original engine. The Aisin-supplied automatic transmission shifted flawlessly because he adhered to a strict 50,000-mile fluid replacement schedule. While the powertrain is rock solid, you must check 3 distinct flaws. First, the dashboard material melts under extreme heat. Mazda used a synthetic material on the upper dashboard that degrades when exposed to direct ultraviolet sunlight. The dashboard turns sticky to the touch and develops a shiny, reflective glare that blinds the driver. Touch the dashboard near the windshield. If your finger sticks to the surface, the material has degraded. Replacing the dashboard carries a high labor cost. Find a car that was parked in a garage. Second, the intake manifold runner control valves rattle. The plastic flaps inside the intake manifold wear out at the pivot points. Start the engine cold and listen near the top of the engine block. If you hear a loud ticking noise that sounds similar to a bad engine lifter, the intake manifold flaps are rattling. The noise disappears when you disconnect the vacuum line. Replacing the intake manifold resolves the issue. Third, the steering rack develops a clunk. The internal gear mesh loses tension. With the engine turned off, wiggle the steering wheel left and right. If you hear a distinct metallic knocking noise echoing from the floorboard, the steering rack requires adjustment or replacement. This is a moderate repair expense. You can secure these forgotten highway cruisers for $5,000 to $9,000. A large sedan devours the highway, but consumer trends dictate a demand for elevated ride heights and all-wheel drive. Our next vehicle represents a massive turning point in automotive engineering. It is the crossover that changed everything. Number 2 2, the Mazda CX-5 2013 to 2016. The compact crossover segment is filled with boring, uninspired appliances. Buyers flock to the Honda CR-V and the Toyota RAV4. They pay a heavy premium just for basic, practical transportation. They accept numb steering and drone-like acceleration as the normal cost of hauling a family. In 2013, Mazda introduced the first-generation CX-5 and shattered that boring mold. This vehicle marked the debut of their Skyactiv technology suite. Mazda re-engineered the engine, transmission, and chassis from the ground up. They wanted to maximize efficiency without using fragile turbochargers or terrible continuously variable transmissions. The used market overlooks early CX-5 models, making them a brilliant bargain. The Skyactiv engine architecture is a masterclass in naturally aspirated engineering. You will find either a 2.0-liter or a 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine under the hood. To achieve high fuel economy, Mazda utilized an unheard-of 14:1 compression ratio. In a normal engine, that much compression causes catastrophic engine knock and destroys the pistons. To prevent this destruction on regular unleaded gasoline, Mazda designed a complex 4-2-1 exhaust manifold header. This long tube design scavenges hot exhaust gases away from the combustion chamber, keeping the cylinder temperatures low. The result is an engine that produces strong low-end torque while returning 33 miles per gallon on the highway. It delivers power instantly when you press the gas pedal. They paired this engine with the Skyactiv Drive 6-speed automatic transmission. Modern competitors use continuously variable transmissions that feel like slipping rubber bands and fail constantly. Mazda refused to follow that trend. This specific gearbox uses a traditional Torx converter for smooth low-speed crawling in city traffic. However, it relies on a multi-plate clutch for direct engagement at higher speeds. It shifts faster than a dual-clutch transmission without the jerky, unreliable side effects. The chassis utilizes high-tensile steel to shed weight while increasing rigidity. This gives the crossover the sharp, nimble handling characteristics of a small sports car. A home health nurse named Emily bought a 2014 CX-5 to reach her patients during harsh winter snowstorms. She faced unplowed roads and steep, icy driveways. The predictive all-wheel drive system monitored her steering angle and the outside temperature. It preemptively sent power to the rear wheels before the front tires lost traction. She safely navigated icy rural roads without ever getting stuck. She crossed 280,000 miles on the original powertrain. She only paid for basic fluid changes and new spark plugs. Before signing the title, you must inspect 3 critical areas. Pay close attention to the second flaw, because fixing it wrong will cost you thousands in repair bills. First, the infotainment screen suffers from phantom touches. The digitizer layer separates from the display glass due to extreme cabin heat during the summer. The screen will select radio stations, change navigation settings, and dial phone contacts without you ever touching the glass. Start the car and let it idle in park. Watch the screen closely. If it registers inputs on its own, you must replace the entire display unit. Alternatively, you can remove the dashboard trim and physically unplug the touchscreen ribbon cable to disable the touch feature. Second, the rear electronic parking brake calipers seized. Mazda transitioned from a traditional manual cable handbrake to an electronic system on the rear brake calipers. If a previous owner or an uneducated mechanic attempted to replace the rear brake pads without putting the vehicle computer into service maintenance mode, the internal electric motor gets crushed by the piston compression tool. The caliper will lock onto the brake rotor permanently. Test the electronic parking brake switch multiple times during your test drive. Ensure both rear wheels hold firm and release properly without loud grinding noises. Replacing damaged electronic calipers is a high expense. Third, the direct injection system causes heavy carbon buildup. Because fuel is sprayed directly into the cylinder, it no longer washes over the back of the intake valves. Thick, hardened carbon accumulates on the metal valves, restricting engine airflow. If the engine hesitates during acceleration, idles roughly at a stoplight, or triggers a random cylinder misfire code on the dashboard, the valves are choked. You must pay a mechanic for a walnut blasting carbon cleaning service. They remove the intake manifold and blast crushed walnut shells against the valves to clean the metal. This is a moderate maintenance cost required every 80,000 miles. Used prices range from $8,000 to $13,000. A nimble crossover conquers the suburbs and provides excellent cargo space. But what if you do not need the lifted ride height? What if you want the exact same bulletproof Skyactiv engineering wrapped in a stunning, low-slung body that gets 40 miles per gallon? The vehicle sitting at the top of our list is the undisputed king of Japanese reliability. It is the definitive hatchback that makes the Honda Civic look overpriced and overcomplicated. Before we reveal the ultimate budget champion, leave a comment telling us if you prefer a crossover or a hatchback. Number 1. The Mazda 3, 2014 to 2018. We have reached the absolute pinnacle of budget reliability. When a buyer demands a compact car that will never break down, they purchase a Toyota Corolla. They accept a boring, uninspired driving experience in exchange for perceived reliability. They surrender steering feel and acceleration just to avoid the mechanic shop. The third-generation Mazda 3 shatters that miserable compromise. It utilizes the perfected Skyactiv chassis and powertrain, wrapped in the gorgeous Kodo design language. This design philosophy gives the car a sweeping hood and a low, planted stance. It looks like a premium European sports car, handles like an absolute dream, and costs pennies to maintain. Because the badge on the grille says Mazda instead of Toyota, you can buy it for thousands less than an equivalent Honda Civic. The third-generation Mazda 3 is available as a traditional sedan or a practical 5-door hatchback. You must target the hatchback for maximum cargo utility. The rear hatch opening is massive, allowing you to load bulky items that would never fit inside a standard trunk. Under the hood lies the exact same proven 2.0-liter or 2.5-liter Skyactiv 4-cylinder engine found in the larger CX-5 crossover. It utilizes a massive 14:1 compression ratio to extract maximum power from regular unleaded fuel. The engine block is crafted from cast aluminum with heavy-duty iron cylinder liners. The heavy-duty steel timing chain is designed to last the life of the vehicle, saving you from expensive timing belt replacements. The driving dynamics set this car apart from every single competitor in its class. Mazda engineers focused on the driver's seating position. The steering wheel is aligned with the center of the driver's seat and the pedals. The gas pedal is floor-mounted rather than hanging from the firewall. This organ-style pedal matches the natural pivot point of your ankle. This specific design choice prevents leg fatigue on long highway road trips. The chassis is rigid, allowing the independent suspension to absorb deep impacts without transferring harsh vibrations into the quiet cabin. A dedicated medical courier named Jason purchased a 2015 Mazda 3 hatchback to transport sensitive lab samples between regional hospitals. He spent 8 grueling hours a day in the driver's seat. He loaded heavy medical coolers into the spacious hatchback area. He navigated tight, congested city streets and wide-open interstates through severe winter storms. The ergonomic, supportive seats prevented lower back fatigue during his long shifts. He followed the severe maintenance schedule, changing the full synthetic oil every 5,000 miles. He crossed 340,000 miles. The engine retained perfect factory compression, and the automatic transmission shifted without hesitation. Despite its well-earned status as a mechanical champion, you must check 3 specific components before handing over your cash. First, the hydraulic belt tensioner leaks. The main serpentine belt relies on a fluid-filled hydraulic shock absorber to maintain proper tension on the pulleys. Over time and thousands of heat cycles, the internal rubber seal fails. Open the hood and look at the passenger side of the engine block near the spinning belts. If you see dark fluid leaking down the side of the engine block near the tensioner arm, the unit has failed. A failed tensioner causes the belt to slip, reducing your alternator output and disabling the cold air conditioning. Replacing the tensioner is a cheap and simple repair. Second, the front lower control arm bushings tear apart. The large rubber bushings located at the rear of the front control arms are fluid-filled to dampen road noise. Hitting deep city potholes causes the heavy rubber to tear, leaking the dampening fluid onto the metal chassis. Look behind the front wheels with a bright flashlight. If the large circular bushing shows deep cracks or dark fluid stains, the suspension geometry is compromised. The car will pull to one side under heavy braking. Replacing the lower control arms carries a moderate labor cost, but it restores the sharp, factory steering feel. Third, the factory battery drains quickly due to heavy parasitic electrical draw. The complex electronics and premium infotainment system in the Mazda 3 continue to draw electrical current even when the vehicle is turned off and locked. If the car sits in a driveway for several days without driving, the battery voltage drops. This low voltage triggers false warning lights on the dashboard, including terrifying traction control and power steering failure errors. You must install a high-capacity absorbent glass matte battery. This specific AGM battery handles deep electrical discharges better, preventing these annoying electrical gremlins. You can purchase the best compact car on the used market for $9,000 to $14,000. You now possess the exact blueprint required to bypass the overpriced dealership traps. You understand that a Mazda badge offers commercial-grade durability, premium driving dynamics, and stunning visual design for a fraction of the cost. Stop paying the heavy Toyota tax. Demand sharp handling, proven naturally aspirated engines, and secure your financial freedom today. But mastering the budget car market is only the beginning. What happens when you decide to upgrade to a European luxury brand? The repair bills multiply. If this deep dive saved your bank account, hit the subscribe button and leave a comment telling us your favorite vehicle on this list. There is another video popping up on your screen right now exposing the 10 European vehicles that will bankrupt you. Click it before you buy your next car. We will see you in the next one. If this video saved your bank account, let us know which Mazda you want to park in your driveway in the comments below. Do not forget to like this video to help us share these mechanical truths with the public. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. There is another video on your screen right now exposing the worst cars that will drain your wallet. Click the next video and we will see you over there. Drive smart and keep your cash.